next on the list is the vehicle menu. This is silly, guys. Look, I like there's so many vehicles in the game, but it can be incredibly hard to find the vehicle you want. I can tap R3 and swap to a social menu, which gives me a radial menu of shit I don't need and will never use. Why can't I hit something else and get an actual real vehicle menu? What's up, guys? Darkdally here, playing Ghost Recon Wildlands, and today I'm here with 3 of my good friends, and we want to discuss changes that we want to see made in Ghost Recon Wildlands and or any Ghost Recon Wildlands upcoming sequel. Now, this has been a long thing we've been discussing, and we've used the hashtag MWiGA, and we even have a channel for it on our Discord where we discuss changes we want to see upcoming in Wildlands. Now, I've done videos like this before, but this has serious buildup. We've been monitoring viewer input for well over a month now to see all the changes that the Wildlands community actually wants to see made in the game. The 4 of us are here to discuss the top 22 changes that everyone wants to see either in this Wildlands or the next. Some of these we realize are not possible. Some of these, most of these actually, are definitely possible to see in future updates. All right, guys, so we're going to start discussing. You guys are free to chime in at any time. This is a roundtable discussion. So I'll start off the list. I'll go down the list, and you guys are free to chime in at any time. Okay, so let's start off the list, guys. All right, so we have Rum Rover over here. Good friend of mine. He's been in many videos. Here we have John. He's a huge contributor on the Discord. He's also currently in the military. He's Danish. And then we have Sci-Fire here. And he's definitely someone I've also played with. So we have a few guys here that I know and have talked to. We have a military opinion, both current, being John, and then past military being myself. So let's move on. So let's start off the list, guys. So we have 22 perfect ideas I've compiled in no particular order. Let's start off the list, guys. Battle belts. The Cry JPC and the Mayflower APC in the game are entirely naked, and those 2 at least require a belt. What are your guys' feeling on having customizable belts in the game?
Well, personally, I love having a battle belt because that's what a lot of military units are using, including the Danish military. We have the Pico vest and Broca's battle belt, and it just enhances and it just makes it more usable with extra things on it, magazines, IFAKs, whatever. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Of course I agree. I put it on the list. I thought that was a valid one. Let's move down the list. And again, any of you guys are free to chime in. We have a roundtable discussion here. I had to turn on my night vision because, well, it's nighttime and we can't change the time in multiplayer. All right, so next suggestion down the list is currently we can only have 4-man teams as we have right now. A lot of people want to see 6 or 8-man teams. Now, I think that would be really cool, and I'll tell you why. Currently, when I run multiplayer ops, like you see me do some of my milsim stuff and things like that, we want to run 2 fire teams, but because we're limited to 4 players, we have to have 2-man fire teams, being one on one part of the operation, one on the other. I think it'd be great to be able to have 2 4-man. I mean, if we had an 8-man co-op, we could have 2 4-man, 2 full 4-man fire teams. What do you guys think?
I mean, that'd be awesome. Because you need at least 4 people to breach and clear on anything CQB, and then have a couple guys in the back who are either sniping or medic drone or something, their support.
Honestly, I think that with a 2-man with 2 groups of 4, you could also have an option to increase the difficulty for more realistic gameplay.
Yeah, I really think so.
the tier mode is already hard enough as it is, but you know, you got 2 squads going in, man, you could
Double the amount of AI.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next because we got 20 more to go, guys. All right, so backpack removal. This is a huge one. We can take off our vests. Now, why can't we take off our backpacks? Now, before you guys say anything, a lot of the builds I receive, people send me build requests, and a lot of the build requests are based off real life units who don't usually carry backpacks because if you're just on a short op, you don't need a backpack, and well, everyone knows that. But the best we can do is a camelback, and so people send me build requests equipped with a camelback because they can't remove the backpack. We should be able to remove backpacks. I think that's a very simple one. I'm going to put this one to John because John's currently active military. So, John, what do you think about that?
Well, it's essential for, like what you said yourself, when you go on smaller ops like a raid or something like that, you don't have a backpack on per se because you want to be as light as possible. Of course, you have guys that has backpacks on, but one of the I talked to another guy on the Discord about it, and he said his idea about not being able to remove a backpack is because you basically hitch your secondary weapon on it, or primary if you're sidearm.
So to that point, I've got this Bowman icon. There's no backpack on this.
Right.
No, exactly. That's one of the thing where it goes wrong is like that, using an icon with no backpack on, then it goes all wrong. So
here's the fix: is instead of removing backpack, replace it with a battle belt.
Yeah, it's on there, or over sling or whatever. You have to be able to remove the backpack. It's just lazy programming from Ubisoft.
Okay. Now, so let's move on because we got a lot of things to go through here. So that, again, these are all suggestions from the community. Guys, I created an entire channel on my Discord specifically to discuss all of this, and I let it stew for months before I went through and picked out all of the suggestions. So these are suggestions from over 1,000 members of the Ghost Recon Wildlands community. So yeah, this is what people want. All right. Moving down the line, because I spent a lot of time doing this, putting all this together, and and again, thank you to my moderators and officers and other members of my Patreon and Discord in general who have helped assemble this list of things. Okay, so moving down the line, the ability to select no weapon. Let me go to my weapon screen right here. I'm not currently in ghost mode. I'm currently on tier 1. You can see that I have to have 2 weapons and a pistol. So simply the option to select, for instance, right here, this TAR 21, and for the option to select no weapon if I want. You know, why not? You can do it in ghost mode. So there's an overwhelming amount of people who want to be able to do that in campaign mode. Maybe they want to only use 1 weapon, but not have the commitment of ghost mode. What do you guys think?
Yeah, and that would go right into 6-man, 8-man player where you can only have 1 weapon and just have the boss team where guy only has a sniper. He can't really do CQB, but you put a guy next to him who's his spotter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Force rolls.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's dumb that it's not available in campaign for at least removing your secondary weapon, but it should be, as you said, a sniper and a spotter, and use that as a team. So, but it could also be done as a challenge, like on your Discord, that you're only supposed to have a sidearm and then do player-based challenges.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, player-based.
No weapon, only have a pistol.
Actually, that
would be awesome.
Actually, that's a secret number 23, I guess. I said this video was 22 ideas. The secret number 23 idea is that players can make their own missions. Now we already do that in our
spawn mode.
yeah, we already do that in our milsims, but custom player missions would be a secret number 23. Let's move down to the next item on the list, and that's having a PEC 15 on your top rail instead of it being secluded to the side. The PEC 15 being the ATP-IAL, commonly known as a laser sight. Not most, but many special forces use that on their top rail and they use their side rail for something else. So what I'm proposing here is that we can have 2 top rail options. Look how long some of these rails are. You know, like for instance on the LVOA and etc. We have these long top rails. What weapon am I using currently? I'm using a.
I'm using the LVOA, and I have a laser on the side
Oh yeah, let me go check it
at
out.
the
Yeah.
moment. But,
So
but
like right here.
it's the like the LVOA is built for having a laser on top and like a flashlight or something, a light laser system, both on the top and the side. It's built for that pretty much. It has rails all around it, so why not?
Yeah, that's one thing a lot of people want to see. It's not only having the laser sight on the top, it's that's how so many, SOF, run it, but it's also because there's the room there to do it, and that's what that room is for. And that leads
Yeah.
into another point, which is flashlights. Let's say we could mount that laser sight on the top and kill that wasted space. We could mount a flashlight on the side, and that would be cool. And I'll let you guys drum in your opinion. That would be cool because we would have the option, like right now I'm in night vision because it's nighttime. That would give us the option to run, instead of night vision, we could choose, we could opt to run a flashlight if we wanted to or whatever on the side.
Yeah, it's um, I've, I don't know why they already haven't done it yet. I really don't.
Yeah, no, me either. Because you almost, at least, when I look at SOF, I almost always see a top rail mounted PEC.
Mm.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next
And
issue.
and you if you have a flashlight, then you might be able to blind an opponent by shoving the light right in his face.
That could have use in PvP. Yeah.
Yeah, it could. It's used in Metal Gear Solid 5, I think, where you use a flashlight to blind him, and where he just for a second or two kind of goes, "Oh, that's bright," and then you can take him down pretty easy. And especially
And
in where you have to take down the Sicario, and you start shooting at him, then just flash the flashlight right in his face, and he can see diddly, and then you can go take him down pretty well, fairly easy.
I think that would give much more tactical gameplay if we could do that.
Yeah.
yeah, another tactic of the flashlight is high and low uh, maneuvers. Is one person's high with the flashlight and shines a flashlight in the corner, and then someone low shoots, and
Yeah.
then whoever's shooting with the flashlight takes get all the fire, or the guy down low is keep on firing.
All right. We got to move on to the next one, guys. Sorry. We got to move on to the next one because we got a few to go through here. We have 22 total. All right. So the next one is, and I'm sorry to cut you guys off, but we have to keep moving on. Available let me go to my menu here. Let me go to my camo. Okay, so paint presets. We have tons of weapon camo, many of which are not available as clothing. Now, many of these are just kind of for fun, like the llama camo and whatever, but we have things like this right here, the British MTP, which is a very reputable camo. We have the Swedish M90K, which I have up here somewhere. The ability to have I'm sorry. The ability to have this ammo, this camo, sorry, here it is, M90K, available on our clothing. Why can't we have MTP or M90K available on our clothing? These are viable, real world special forces camos used by different countries around the world. Why can't we have this on our clothing when we can have it on our weapons?
I'm very opinionated about that because one of the weapons camo that's available is one called the M84. It's the old Danish camo pattern for uniforms, and I can only choose it as a weapon camo and not as clothing camo, and that really annoys the hootenanny out of me that I
Oh,
can't choose
here it
it
is.
when I can see it.
This is a Danish camo. I didn't know that. Yeah. Oh, wait.
It's actually
It
the
is.
name of it's the term we use in the Danish military. We just call it that.
I just noticed I have two M90s. I have M90 Sweden and I have M90K up here, which is funny because it's a Swedish camo. So they have two versions of it. This just goes to show Ubisoft doesn't know anything about military stuff. And that's fine. Yeah, see here we have M90K. And whoops, and there are various varieties of the M90. I just noticed there's two kinds here in the weapons. I didn't even notice. Okay, sorry, John. Go on. Yeah, you were saying about I didn't even notice the M84. Go back down to it
Yeah,
here.
it's kind of our version of the American Woodlands. It's mainly used. It was used in primarily Northern Europe because we're more a green country. We have a lot of forests. That's basically those colors. And whenever we have to go to a sandbox, we had a desert camo for that. It basically the pattern is that just different colors, but now we have the multicam or MTS as we call it, and that's not as usable in the Danish nature. Maybe at beaches and dunes and such, which we have a lot of, but in forests it's just yeah, it's not nearly as good. But I'm a big fan of the old M84, so yeah.
That's that's a great perspective. I never thought of that. So I guess in general, there's a lot of camos on the weapons which we showed: the MTP, the M90, the M84, which are real world camos you can get on your weapons, but you can't get on your clothes. Now we can already get like 33 different kinds of camos on our clothes, but I don't feel all of them are as good as they could be. There could be more. I mean, I can hit. I'm on PlayStation. I can hold R1, go to vehicle drop off, and I can select through like 40 different cars here. Why can't I select 40 different camos? I mean, you know what I mean? On my weapons. So there
You should
could.
be able to have every single camo available for weapons available for clothing. You should be able to decide what you want to put
Yeah,
on
sure. Exactly. Yeah, even the ridiculous ones like the covert ops or the carbon fiber or the elite, that's all red and black. Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not? How hard would it be? How hard would that be just to put all those camos on the clothing? It'd make the list super long, but guess how many, long lists we already have? Speaking of long lists, let's move on down the list because I think we've covered this. This is something, again, this is what the Ghost Recon Wildlands community wants to see. I've been monitoring this channel on my Discord, which is populated again by over 1,200 people for well over probably 2 months now. This is what people want to see. Now, let's go ahead and down the list. Countermeasures for helicopters. Rom, could you hop out of that chopper? Because you're making a lot of noise, brother. All right. So, but speaking of helicopters, yeah, countermeasures. Everyone knows to be careful when flying over areas like Florida Oro or Media Luna because of SAM sites. Why not have countermeasures on helicopters for said SAM sites? I mean, that's a pretty simple one. This is just a pretty quick one, seems to me. Pretty quick. Countermeasures. Let's move on to let's move on down the list because we got a lot of shit to go through. Okay, the next category is suggested weapons. Now here I've added two of my own because this, there's things I want to see, and this is my video. Well, this is our video, but there's definitely some weapons I want to see, and I've added two weapons. Okay, let's just get to it. I'll stop. Let's get to it. All right, so the FNFAL is one of the most iconic weapons of the 20th century, which surprisingly a lot of people, mostly Americans, don't know about because it never really made it to America. America instead decided to stick with the M14. After completely screwing up the design of the FNFAL, America then decided to stick with the M14. But unbeknownst to us, the rest of the free world used the FAL through the larger part of the Cold War. It's an iconic weapon. It really is. And that's a weapon I'd like to see in the game. Another one, and I'll tell you right now, let me go ahead and swap to my menu here, and I'll show you. Let's go to assault rifles. All right, so whoops, I didn't mean to equip it, but that's fine. Right here we have, okay, so here we have the SR3M. This is in the game. This is awesome. This is a 9x39 compact assault rifle. This is used by Russian security forces and Spetsnaz and things like that. And this is meant to be concealed underneath a suit jacket, basically. What people may or may not realize, 9x39 is a very large round. It's a sniper rifle round, and there is no sniper rifle in the game that uses this round. I think, and many people have agreed with me, that the VSS Venturez, which is chambered in 9x39, should be a weapon in the game. It's a very interesting sniper rifle. We only have a few sniper rifles from Russia in the game. We only had the M1891 and the Dragunov until just recently. We got the KSVK, so that's cool. So now we have 3 Russian sniper rifles. I propose the VSS Venturez, as it's incredibly unique. It would be the most unique sniper rifle Ubisoft could introduce into the game. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'd love it. It's a cool looking rifle. It's iconic, basically. It's an icon.
Yeah.
We just need it. It's enough said.
Right. Moving on down the list of requested weapons. So those are my 2 suggestions. The FNFAL, which literally like changed the course of the Cold War, which, if you guys, I grew up during the Cold War. It changed the face of the world for about 40 years, the FNFAL, and then the VSS Venturez. Now let's move on to the top 2 suggested weapons by subscribers. I've been reading your guys' comments, watching your suggestions. The top 2 requested weapons by viewers have been the UMP45 and the XM8. Those have been the top 2. I have had those requested to me hundreds of times to add to the game.
Well, the UMP45 is basically in every shooter game out there, and has been for the better part of 10-15 years.
20.
So, yeah, it was in Bad Company 2 as a unlockable. I used it all the time. And
I mean, it's been in Ghost Recon games since I don't know when.
yeah,
At least the UMP has anyway.
Yeah, it's one of those iconic weapons that we just need.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on down the line because we still have more suggestions to get to. Okay, so next up is, let me go to my menu here. Let's go to my weapon menu. And I pushed the wrong button yet again. You guys know I love to do that. All right, so let's go down. Let's find what I'm looking for here, and I'll show you my next point. Here we go. I have this thing at level 30? Wow. I'm sorry, I'm in tier 1 mode. I didn't realize, man, I've leveled a lot of weapons to level 30. All right, so here's the next suggestion. Ghillie weapon wraps. The SR1 Chameleon I'm showing you right now comes with a weapon wrap. So too does the SR25, what's it called? Commando or something like that. Has one as well.
Yeah. M4A1 Commando.
And yeah, so does that M4, has a bit of one too. This should be a paint option. This should be, I think this is one of my suggestions. I don't think this came from viewers specifically. I think this was one of mine, but I think this is a thing. This should be a paint option right here. If I have a sniper rifle, I should be able to ghillie it up just as I can add a ghillie suit to myself, to my top, to my trousers. I should also be able to apply a ghillie to myself. I don't think that'd be that hard. That would be the same as just adding more camos. It's just adding more graphics. And I know adding more graphics isn't cheap. Look, I'm not a game developer. I know a lot of cost goes behind just simply adding new polygons. I know is not that as easy as it sounds, but they could do it. I mean, look at Sci-Fi right here. He's holding that BDC with that ridiculous paint job. They took the time to add that ridiculous honeycomb paint job. Why couldn't they give us the option to just paste some twigs and berries over our sniper rifles. And that's not a
I would
slight
love
at
to change
Ubisoft.
this.
I'm just saying that's something they could do.
I would love to change the skin on this weapon because I use it a lot, especially when I'm farming resources, and it just looks hideous.
You know, as I said, I still remember I made an off-the-cuff kind of improv joke in my original BDC video. I said, that weapon is great if you're hiding in a honeycomb or in the thong of a male stripper.
Yeah, there it is. The SR1 Chameleon.
Yeah, the SR1
Oh.
Chameleon. Yeah. Why can't we do that to all of our snipers? It would add a lot more immersion to the game. All right, so let's move on. I hate to move on, but we got to keep moving on. All right, roundtable discussion. Next topic, fast roping from choppers. Now, that's not something I could realistically see them adding into this, iteration of the game. Perhaps in a sequel or something, but that's something everyone agrees they would love to see. They'd love to see instead of, yeah.
Instead of more freaking dances.
Instead of more dances, yeah. How about you take out all the emotes and let us fast rope down from choppers? That would be incredible, like teamwork
It's just as
wise and everything.
complicated.
Yeah. Well, there is
Instead of
that.
this.
I don't see how it would work.
Oh my
in
God!
single
Wait.
player,
Am I
'cause who's
in
gonna fly the
Fortnite?
chopper?
Wait, am I in Fortnite now? Well, what the hell are you doing, Rum? Holy shit! Yeah, exactly. There is that.
Take out all these pieces of...
So,
I think my son can do that on Fortnite as well.
all right.
I believe it's called the Carlton after Carlton on
Carlton.
on
From Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah, the Carlton
Yeah.
dance. Yeah. The Carlton dance is in Fortnite. I know that because my roommate plays Fortnite, and he showed me they had the Carlton
on top
dance.
of that, he's actually trying to sue a couple games, try to get it off, as well as a couple rappers.
He should, because it's his dance. I mean, just saying.
Yeah.
The Carlton dance is iconic.
Yeah, there's like a handful of people that are suing all the video games, try to get the emotes removed.
All right, well, let's
So
get
yeah,
off
take
of...
off all the emotes, add helicopter repelling.
Okay, so I'll put this out there. Before we move on to the next point, I'll put this out there. No Ghost Recon player wants emotes. None of us. I've talked to the entire community. No one likes the emotes. Ubisoft, look, I know you want to make money, and I respect that you want to make money. I'm fine with microtransactions. I have purchased every piece of microtransaction for this game. I am fine with it, but no one wants emotes. No one gives a shit. Except for the Slav squat. Except for that one. Except for that one. We'll leave that one in, okay? So let's move on to the next suggestion here. Okay, next suggestion. Dikes. And no, I don't mean this kind of dikes. I mean the kind of dikes that cut wires. Currently, the only way to break through a fence on a base is to drive your car through it or to blow it up with a grenade. The latter of which causes an alert. We should be able to have wire cutters, dikes, wire cutters that we should be able to cut through our way through the fence. What are you guys' feelings on that?
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah. It helps a lot with if you want a more stealthy approach than having to bang a car through it or blowing it up. And if you use
I don't want to walk a fucking mile.
Yeah, exactly. And if you use a bike, then it's just going to be a freaking wall.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, everyone wants to see that. That would be a great stealthy way to infiltrate a base. I think it's a great idea. Again, these all come from the Ghost Recon Wildlands community, every one of these ideas. Moving on to the next one. The ability to move bodies. Now, I realize, again, that's going to be a major game change. But it is something we see in other Ubisoft games, such as Far Cry, where we can move bodies. In this game, when we drop a body, we have no option to move it. We have to just hope the enemy doesn't see it, which often means...
Or it despawns.
Doing this, what I'm doing right now, which is scoping in other directions, which can often make them despawn. And you've seen me do it in videos previous where I was dropping bodies and then scoping in the opposite direction to make them despawn. Why can't we just move them? Now, that's probably a major game change that would have to happen in a future sequel.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
nonetheless, moving down the line. Okay, moving down the line. Let's go back to the weapons menu here. We're going to have a look at... Oh, I pushed the wrong button again. Man, I am bad for that. Okay, so here we go. Submachine guns. Let's have a look at submachine guns. Wow, my honey badger's already level 21. Hang on a second. Oh, I can't level it up. I was going to level up. I can't. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so looking at SMGs, we now have quite the collection of PDWs. Now, the honey badger is arguably a PDW. Some claim it's an SMG, whatever. The point is, in the game, it is considered a PDW. If you look it up in Wikipedia, it's a PDW. Again, the honey badger origin is arguable because some people say AAC, some people say Q. We'll just say Q. The Q honey badger is technically classified as a PDW as far as I know. We have the SR635 made by Knight's Armory. This is a PDW. We have the... Here, let's look at these. So we have the... Let's scroll back up. So we have the Q Honey Badger PDW. We have the Knight's Armory 635 PDW. We have the FNP90 PDW. We have the Magpul PDR PDW. One sec, there's one more. Oh, here it is. We have the H&K MP7 PDW. Okay, let me back out of this. What I'm getting to is, I think they're at the point where they kind of need their own weapon class. Like right here, I'm showing crossbow. We have one weapon. We have a category specifically for crossbow, and there's one weapon there. We already have like 4 or 5 PDWs. I didn't count. Wait, let me count. Honey Badger, P90, SR635, MP7, PDR. So that's 5. So we have 5 PDWs. That deserves its own weapon class. And I say that
that's
because
just the standard ones.
Yeah. They fire distinctly different bullets than most SMGs, which fire either 9mm or 45 caliber. These are firing more like rifle rounds. And in some cases, like in the case of the PDR, which fires straight 5.56, in the case of the Q Honey Badger, which fires straight 300 Blackout, these are straight rifle rounds. So we're talking SMGs, which we're talking small weapons, which fire just straight up rifle rounds. They should have their own category. Lumping them in with SMGs is not doing anybody any good. And it's just completely destroying the weapon, I think.
Yeah. It's not that hard to do. They did it with the compact machine guns and the sidearms menu, so it's not that hard to do. Just go ahead and do it.
All right, so and all of these suggestions are realistic. Like before, I have said things like add in Glocks. Well, I know Glock is extremely, protective over their trademark. That's fine. We're not suggesting things like that. We're just suggesting move some things around. All right. Yeah. Well, although we would love to see Glocks in the game, but that's not going to happen. We all know that. All right, so let's move down the list here. Oh yeah. Speaking of which he just mentioned, let's go back to my menu here, and let's go down to. I keep pushing the wrong darn button. Let's move. Oh, here we go. Scorpion, or even more realistic, the Mac 11. Why can't we suppress this? Why is this not a possibility? You can suppress them in real life. Have you ever seen Scarface? Okay, just saying. You can suppress these. Why can't we suppress it in the game? Would it be an unfair advantage? I don't think so. I don't know. You should be able to suppress the SMGs, the machine pistols. You should be able to suppress them. Let's move on to the list. Okay, so flashlights, we've actually already discussed that. We should be able to mount our laser sights on the top of a rail, and we should be able to have flashlights on the side, and the reason is it would be a great and immersive alternative to night vision, but we've already gone there. Let's move down the list to Alice packs. This is something... let's move down here. Let's have a look at clothing. Let's go to vests. Okay, so here we have the Alice vest. Now, as someone who served in the military during this era, everyone knows this is lacking one thing. It's lacking a vest under it. But let's forget that for a second. All of the vests in the game incorporate Molly, and now Molly is good, Molly is cool and all that, but if you're going to have an Alice vest, why don't we have an Alice pack to go with it? I'm just going to back out of the menu now because there is no Alice pack. I think that'd be a great mate to the current Alice vest we have, to have an Alice pack to go with it, you know, with the drawstrings and all that. So I'll just put that out there. That's a quick one. Let's move on down the list to what's next. Oh yeah, the reason that I had night vision on for half the video. One suggestion I thought was actually valid is being able to wait either in single or multiplayer. Now in multiplayer you can add advanced time. In single player you can advance time by traveling and traveling back. It's kind of ghetto, so why not just give us an option to wait? In multiplayer it's not possible. In multiplayer we cannot change the time of day. Now why would this matter? It matters because different bases have different patrols at different times of day. We should have an option to wait. What do you guys think about that?
Well, it makes it easier to enter a base and basically clear it out at night because everyone, well, most are sleeping, and you can just, well, kill them in their sleep and get the area done with faster. But personally, for me, of course, you're a YouTuber and you need to have your light, so to say, at the right time. But for me, I like that the time changes without me having to think about it. I just have to take it into consideration when I'm doing missions. So it's more of a challenge for me because it's one of the criterias for the op that I'm using or doing.
Okay, so maybe it's not such a big deal for some, but think back to Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, completely different game. The dynamics were different at day versus night, just like they are here. And that game allowed you to smoke a magical cigar, which was kind of silly, but hey, it's like Japanese anime sci-fi, right? So, but regardless, it let you smoke a magic cigar and change the time of day, and that let you change the dynamics of the way you infiltrate a base. I don't think that's a bad idea at all. It is a game, but hey, you know. All right, so let's move on. Okay, next on the list. Oh, perfect example. Thank you for pulling up a vehicle, because next on the list is the vehicle menu. I'm going to scroll through my vehicle menu while I talk about this. This is silly, guys. Look, there's so many vehicles in the game, and yes, I own all of them. And there's, I don't know, I haven't counted, maybe 30 or so. I haven't counted. But it can be incredibly hard to find the vehicle you want. Here's a suggestion, Ubisoft. I can tap R3 and swap to a social menu, which gives me a radial menu of shit I don't need and will never use. Why can't I hit something else and get an actual real vehicle menu? Because if I want to call a certain vehicle, it can take an extremely long time to find it in this menu. What do you guys think?
Or maybe like a favorite car, like if you remove the entire ridiculous emote crap and then press R3 and use the numpad for like pressing left or up or down or whatever, then have 4 favorite cars that you can just switch to fast instead of going through the vast inventory of cars.
Yeah, there's lots of options there. I think I think it's just something they've overlooked. They've added so many cars. I think they've just overlooked the fact that I don't think it's something they did on purpose. They just overlooked it. All right, so let's move on. We've only got I think about 4 left, guys. All right, so next we're gonna go to the clothing menu here. Let's go to edit appearance. Let's go to clothes. Let's go to tops. Oh, you see I'm already wearing the Cry Combat shirt. Okay, so I mentioned Glock earlier. Many companies, I I understand there's branding difficulties with the company. That's a thing, but Ubisoft obviously has some kind of deal with Cry and 511 because there's a lot of Cry and 511 gear in the game. There needs to be more Cry in the game. And I've talked to a lot of active military, and they all agree with me there should be more Cry in the game. A lot of military guys favor Cry precision gear. Currently, we only have one top, one pants, and one or two vests. There could be
there's
more.
also that spare shirt.
Oh, yeah, the
The
Cry 2
short
shirt.
sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The one with the roll-up sleeves.
They already have a deal with Cry. You guys already have a deal with 511. Although I think 511's kind of... Don't get me wrong, I'm wearing a 511 shirt right now, actually, in real life. I am. I love their flannel shirts. But I think Cry is more serious, and any operator is going to agree, and they're going to... Well, there's a lot of brands that different people use. I'm just saying. You guys already have a deal with Cry, obviously. Why not add more gear of theirs into the game? I guarantee you no one would complain. I guarantee you no one would complain if you added more Cry into the game. No one would complain.
I personally love the way it looks.
Yeah. They make really good stuff, really good, tough stuff.
I believe I'm wearing the shirt now and the pants.
I'm not going to say it's the best,
that, yeah.
but it's good. So let's move on. We have 3 more points. Okay, so another thing people are suggesting is, and this is not something I expect to see in this game, but possibly in a future sequel, is bipods. I understand that would be, as far as game engine, physics-wise goes, something you probably can't add into this current game iteration, but bipods. People want to see bipods. We saw it in, let me think. Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. Sniper, I was going to say Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 because that's made off of an Ubisoft engine.
Yeah. But I like the bipod system in Battlefield 4 because you deploy it and then you kind of lock the weapon in that particular position with the legs. You can still rotate the weapon a little bit, but it's fairly locked. And with if you deploy a sniper rifle like one of the big 50 cals or the Stoner LMG, if you pop out the legs, if it had bipods, you'd be pretty, I wouldn't say locked, but you just can't wiggle it around like if you didn't have them. So, but they would do immensely for both stability, recoil. It's just it gives and gives. I can't see anything bad about having bipods, but as you said, it's probably something they would have in a sequel in the next Wildlands game.
Yeah. So that's something that we would like to see. Now we got 2 more suggestions here. There's 2 left, guys. We've got 20 down, 2 left. All right, so we'd like the ability to kick in more doors. Now, like there's a door over here. I don't necessarily mean this door. There's going to be nothing in there. Currently, the only doors you can kick in lead to just resources you pick up, and that's it. There's no purpose to them. How about bases like... remember that Rainbow Six Siege mission? What was it called?
Archangel.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be cool to kick in the doors and kill the guys instead of just detonating them? Or the radio stations, kick in the doors. Why? I'm not saying there's no reason not to blow them up. We could breach them with explosives, but currently the only doors we can kick in lead to nothing but small little instanced rooms that have nothing but resources in them. It was a great animation that's already in the game. It's a great function that's already in the game. There's no reason they couldn't apply it to more doors as an option, is what I say.
I love the way the animation of it makes me feel kind of a badass when I'm playing.
Yeah, doesn't it?
It feels good kicking the door in.
Yeah, it really does. It's a great animation they put in the game, and it's far, far underused. Okay, so that said, let's move on to the last thing here. The last thing is quite revolutionary, but possibly a really great idea. So I said these were in no particular order, but I did kind of save the best for last, guys. Okay, so I was talking to a friend of mine who's actually a gunsmith in real life. We've been talking quite a bit. He's contributed to the channel via gun parts, and I consider that definitely a contribution. He's sent me some really cool gun parts, so I talked to this guy a lot. He's a gunsmith, so shout out to Hollywood. Thank you so much, sir. And yeah, he sent me a brand new Colt carry handle, a new light, a new grip, and adjustable gas block for my AR. So again, shout out to Hollywood for that. He's been a huge contributor to the channel. And so I got to give him a shout out. He suggested the idea of this. He and I were talking. There's so many ARs in the game. Like, people talk about adding new weapons to the game. And I mentioned those weapons earlier. A lot of people were suggesting other AR and AK variants. And I was talking to Hollywood, and I was like, man, there's already so many AR variants in the game. We have the P416, the R5 RGP, the LVOA, the M4, the M16, the HK416. We have so many AR variants. And he was like, what if we just have, and this might be something for a future game, what if we just have a generic AR platform? Of course, he's speaking as a gunsmith in real life. He's like, what if we just had a generic AR platform and let the user modify it? Of course, I'm looking at a Russian rifle here. I don't have an AR equipped, but one of these guys has an AR. He's like, what if we just have a generic AR platform and let the user just build it the way they want? You know, you want direct impingement or piston operated. You want full length handguard, free floated. You want short, long barrel. What do you want? You know, now that's probably something for a different game, but that's a valid point. Instead of having like 15 variations of the same rifle in the game, why don't you give us just an AR-15 platform and let us build it? And that goes the same with the AK. There's tons of AKs in this game. When you look at the AK-47, the AK-12, which of course this game got completely wrong. I just want to put that out as a disclaimer. The Vector R4, which is an AK variant. The RPK-74, though that's a light machine gun. There's not as many AK variants. I know I skipped a couple there. I'm just kind of going off the cuff and going off the top of my head. There's not as many, but there's a lot of AR variants in this game. So why not just give us like an AR platform and let us build it? What do you guys think on that one? This is the last point, so I'll let you guys. I think that's the most interesting point. What do you guys think?
Well, the fun thing about that is I've actually discussed it a lot with some of the guys on your Discord. Like, if you choose the M4A1 and go into the parts menu, then it kind of it breaks up into its part. If you take the barrel and basically the entire upper section of the rifle, and you change that out, then you can like build the M249, get a AR LMG 5.56 build on it and make it bigger and badder and however you want. If you want to make a sniper, you can do it. If you want an LMG or whatever, you just start with this basic platform and just build on it. Personally, I'd love the idea, but I don't know how if they actually can make it in a game.
Yeah. All right, guys. So yeah, John said it quite well. Yeah, that's something I agree with. So let's go ahead and end this video. So there's the top 22 things that, and I think I have a reasonable cross section of the Ghost Recon Wildlands community, being over 1,200 on my Discord server. And if you want to know how to join my Discord server, the link is in the description below. Join the community. There's tons of people here. We have tons of channels and forums for discussion and etc. This is where all these suggestions came from over more than a month or two of reading suggestions and picking the top ones. That's where we got the suggestions for this video. We still have #MWiGA merchandise available on the store. We have our custom designed graphic with the #MWiGA, Make Wildlands Great Again merchandise still available on the store. So Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, a big shout out to Hollywood for not only his awesome suggestion we just went over, but also for him supporting the channel by sending me gun parts, because I like guns in real life. Also, big shout out here to Rom, who's a longtime patron of the channel, longtime contributor. John here, who is a longtime contributor of the channel, and Sci-Fi, who's also a patron of the channel. Big shout out to all three of these guys for helping me with this discussion here of what everyone wants, our own opinions. Guys, tell me what you think in the comments below. These are the things. This is the final video. This is the finality of everything that we've gathered, you know, in data over like months that everyone wants to see. So Ubisoft, if you're watching, this is what the player base wants to see in the game. Be it this game or the next game, this is what we want to see in Wildlands. And yes, we want to see a Wildlands 2. We're all still playing this game. I'm still playing this game. All of us still are. We love this game. We want to see more, and this is what we want. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Ubisoft, I know you're watching. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys get in touch with me someday. Guys, I'm Darkdally. Check the description below for links to relevant things I may decide to put in when I'm editing this. I may put some good links in the description below, some relevant links, etc. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks, Rum, John, and Sai for being here. Guys, you have any closing words?
Well, only one thing. As you guys can see in the video, Dally has a very special NVG on his head, which we call the dig in the forehead.
I forgot. Yeah, I mentioned that in an earlier video. Yeah, John's currently in the Danish military, and they have a special Danish word for this particular NVG. What is it in Danish?
Pik I pen.
Pik I pen.
Which is Pik I pen, which is directly translated into dig in the forehead.
All right,
and
then.
We have a binocular version called elephant dick in the forehead.
All right. That's the best way I could possibly think to end a video, with an elephant dick in the forehead. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've watched this long, then you truly probably feel like you have taken an elephant dick in the forehead. So thank you for watching so long. Thank you all for being here. Guys, I'm Darkdally. This is the ultimate list of suggestions for Wildlands. I hope Ubisoft takes some of this to heart. I hope they get in touch with me someday. Just toss me an email. My email is right there on my YouTube. Just toss me an email. And, all right, guys. I'm Darkdally. Sai, Rom, John, we'll talk to you later.